Hey everybody, Tactic Angel here, back to talk a little bit about World of Warships Legends, the November update, and the news coming out of the World of Warships Legends stream on Monday. So first, the update. There are two big bits of news out there for this update. The first one that interests me the most is probably crossplay. Now players on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One can queue up together, which helps to make the matchmaking a little bit easier and a little bit faster. If for whatever reason you decide that you don't want to play with other players from the other network, you can turn this off by going to the network section of your settings. This feature is enabled by default, and since you're really going to shoot yourself in the foot in terms of getting into a match quickly, I would highly suggest not messing with it. Based on what I've seen and what Wargaming has said about the stats of different ships in the game on different platforms, the level of skill between the consoles is more or less interchangeable, and the Blues on my team have so far been just as good and just as bad as they ever were. So for now, there is no way to division up with people who are on the other platform, and you can't actually hear each other in the game chat either, which is something of a mixed blessing or curse, however you want to look at it, because it would be extremely helpful to be able to actually talk to everybody on your team, particularly when we go into the next big bit of news. And that is, of course, ranked battles. For this week and 3 weeks following, there are ranked battles. Right now and next week, you can play in Tier 5 ships, and starting the week after that, you will be able to play in Tier 4 ships for 2 weeks. The rules behind advancing is pretty straightforward. If you win a game, you gain a star. If you lose a game, you lose a star. Gaining stars helps you increase in your rank, and there are really only two exceptions to the lose a star scenario. If you are the first place player on the losing team, you do not lose a star, and if you have no stars and you're in an irrevocable rank, then you don't lose a star either. Now, an irrevocable rank is rank 10, 9, 7, 4, and 1. Here you actually start at rank 10 and work your way towards rank 1. Upon reaching a rank for the first time, you will be rewarded with some goodies. I'll go ahead and show those on the screen here. Now, if you're looking forward to this patch, though, you'll have to wait until the end of the season before it gets credited to your account. There is an error in the patch notes, by the way. It says that there can only be 2 destroyers in a ranked game. That is definitely not true, and you will find that out pretty quickly if you want to play ranked battles. You can only have 2 destroyers in your division while playing ranked battles. So these ranked battles are a special mode. They are played in a special 7 versus 7 formats. Platoons are allowed, which seems absolutely crazy to me, and they are played on only one of 4 maps: New Dawn, North, Shards, and everyone's favorite, Strait. Everyone spawns together in one big bunch. All the games are domination format, and the capture points here in ranked battles are different than how they're laid out in any other type of battle. In terms of game tweaks, the Tirpitz has been given some love, and the Vanguard received yet another round of buffs. Essentially, they lowered the Tirpitz in the water a bit and reduced the chance that it could be citadeled. Her repair party was improved 20%, and she has a 1-second reload advantage versus her pre-patch reload speed. For the Vanguard, you're looking at high explosive fire chance increasing yet again, this time from 38 to 42%. The deck thickness for most of the ship was increased from 30 to 50 millimeters, which is huge, and she was also lowered in the water and is harder to citadel. I've played several games in both of these ships. My first impressions are that the Tirpitz is a lot more resilient, and the Vanguard is approaching ridiculous levels of survivability, though its main battery remains somewhat unimpressive. I am getting the strong hint that maybe Wargaming wants this to be the HE spammer of the battleships, and I have so far refused to embrace that, so that might be more my problem than a problem with the actual ship. Kaiser and Koenig have both been nerfed a bit, and that basically takes the form of increased rudder shift times and a minor reduction in damage caused by the main battery. There's now a port filter, which is a godsend if you have any number of ships in your harbor, so you can now arrange your ships pretty much however you want. You can hide ships, from different tiers or different nations and sort according to several different arrangements. The last real bit of news, in my opinion, is that we got 3 new maps. They are Land of Fire, the Atlantic, and Trap. I've played on all 3, and I have to say they are a breath of fresh air. It's really nice to get new maps. I hope they continue to add more maps like this because these are pretty good. The update also announced the Black Friday sales, which include the ability to buy 3 ships with black skins. They are, of course, the Scharnhorst Black, the Warspite Black, and the Atlanta Black. Looking in the store, though, there are additional Black Friday sales, including 4,500 doubloons off a year's worth of premium, and some various odds and ends under the Black Friday tab. Finally, the Mutsu and Kid are also discounted in the premium section of the store. Last but not least, the Tirpitz is available there for 750,000 global XP. It is in the store, not in the tech tree this time, so I'm not sure if the Alabama's placement on the tech tree was confusing to people, but the Tirpitz is now in the store, so who knows. Overall, my thoughts are that this is a decent update. It's nice to have a low-stress season. As some of you know who've watched my channel for a while, though, I have a pretty middling level of interest in ranked battles at best, but I have really been looking forward to this crossplay feature, and the port filter is a huge quality of life improvement. But the news doesn't quite stop there. Wargaming had a stream to announce the update, and we got several more bits of info out of that. And I'll run down those pretty quick in no particular order. Actually, it might be chronological order. Who knows? So the black ships, they have the same stats as their non-black counterparts. They are a separate ship than the normal ship. Those of you who own both, like the Iwaki and the Iwaki FE, or the Arkansas versus the Arkansas FE, know exactly how that works. So there isn't a way to actually buy the black skin for your existing Scharnhorst, Warspite, or Atlanta. The Yamato is in the game, very stealthily. It is possible, though I will say it is extremely unlikely, that you might run into it in a Tier 7 AI battle. I've played exactly 20 AI battles to see if I couldn't get a little bit of footage for that, but since you aren't watching me play against bots, you can imagine how successful I was in that. Phil said we will be getting Oleg, hopefully in February, which might be a joke. I guess we'll see. Strangely, I didn't see anyone complaining about this, really. The spawn updates will be happening next patch, not this patch. Someone asked whether we could get manual secondaries, which, for those of you who are not familiar with the PC version of this game, there are ways to actually make your secondaries more effective by selecting a skill that allows you to designate a target for your secondaries, and they will fire only at that target. That is a little bit of a disadvantage if there are several ships that you could be shooting with your secondaries, but they become a lot more effective when you run your secondaries like that on the PC. For now, though, they don't think that they can do manual secondaries without making the game a lot more complicated, so they're looking at ways of just increasing the effectiveness of secondary builds, which we should start seeing in the first quarter of 2020. For those of you looking for some additional damage counters, like the spotting damage or potential damage received counter that you can put in the PC game, it sounds like they may be looking at ways to add this to the post-battle screen at some point, but right now the developers are a little concerned about putting too many numbers on the screen during battle. And that makes a certain amount of sense, though I think they could do it as an option in the settings, and that would be turned off by default, and then just let those who want to do it opt into that feature. Crossplay voice chat is a thing that they're hoping to implement in the future, but no word on when. The Jean Bar is still on track for 2019. They didn't say when, but I think basic pattern recognition says that it would probably be whatever update follows the one following ranked battles, since I can only imagine there's only one major update left this year. For those of you concerned about the balance in the game, it sounds like Wargaming is listening. They are considering some changes in the next year to help cruisers be a more attractive option, which hopefully will make the game more balanced in terms of ship selection, rather than our current meta, which seems to heavily favor battleships and destroyers. With the Atlanta B in stores, someone asked if they could get a regular Atlanta again. The answer was yes, she will be in the stores at some point, but once again, no word on when that will be. And at least as of now, there are no plans to make the Azur Lane boats available in Legends. I imagine this is bad news for a few people, but very, very good news for lots of other people, including me. In any case, that is a rundown of the news we've had this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next one.